Alright, so this is the second part of, I guess, my series on what if Saitama didn't remove his limiter. So in the first video, we talked about how strong he would have been if he basically got to the point of like about to remove his limiter, but he just didn't, and he settled for what his individual level cap would have been. So please, if you haven't seen that video already, check it out. I think it's pretty interesting. But basically at the end of that, we decided that, I guess, more or less, he would be around the power of like what Darkshine and Garo were in chapter 127, like somewhere around there, comparable to them, I suppose. Like he's through and through a high dragon, maybe one of the stronger ones, and I guess, you know, he would be considered one of the strongest S-class heroes, like somewhere in the like top 6 or top 5, somewhere around there. So he's definitely really strong, but compared to what he is typically, you know, the one above all, he is severely nerfed at this point. So in this video, we're just going to be taking a look at what if that Saitama that we established in the first video went through the story, and how would it play out accordingly. But first, let's get into the sponsor of this video, and surprisingly, it's Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, I'm like a real YouTuber now, but in case you don't know what this is for some reason, it's like a super high quality turn-based RPG that you could play on your phone or even your PC at any time. And there's like so much to do in this game. Like I was just recording footage for this ad read and I got sucked in. And now they've added even more stuff, because now that season 1 of Battle Pass is live, you can just win rewards like free energy refills, upgraded artifacts, and legendary champions, and all you gotta do is just beat the daily and weekly challenges. So like, what are you waiting for? Just go into the link in the description, and if you get on the special link, then you're gonna get 100,000 free silver, 50 gems, 1 energy refill, and 1 champion, the Adjudicator. And of course, you can also find me in the game under the name Big Z Shonen, and if you're quick enough, you can even join my clan, the Z Pirates. But again, all the links will be in the description, guys. You'll also be helping me out, of course. Thanks again. So as it occurs normally in the series, Saitama is going to be taking on Vaccine Man. So can this Saitama defeat him? And I think, you know, it's probably likely that he could, since the data book classifies Vaccine Man as a dragon, and the consensus more or less considers him to be like, I guess like mid-dragon, somewhere around there. We don't really have too many feats on him. We do know that he's really powerful. I mean, he has strength comparable to that of Homeless Emperor with their Light Sphere abilities, and he can fly and do all that other stuff, and he can transform. So, I mean, I guess it would be fair to put him around mid-dragon level, but, you know, we're talking about high dragon Saitama here, one of the stronger ones. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that he could probably take care of him, like, maybe mid-diff, maybe somewhere around there, maybe a little more difficult. I mean, I think he has enough strength, speed, and durability to get the job done against Vaccine Man. But like I said, he's nerfed here, so it's not going to be nearly as easy as it was in the first encounter with just 1 punch. So next up, Saitama is going to be encountering Beefcake Marugori, and this is going to be extremely difficult for him to overcome. Yes, I rate Beefcake higher than Vaccine Man, as most do. I think given that Saitama is kind of around the level of somebody who, in theory, could defeat Darkshine if pushed far enough, possibly. You know, just go back to the first video where I talked about all this stuff to get a better understanding of where I'm coming from here. But I think somebody like that, you know, just guessing their power, could maybe defeat Beefcake. I mean, it would be really high diff, and it's difficult to say for sure because we haven't seen Beefcake go against anyone else outside of Saitama. I think that, you know, he could probably jump up to his face just as he did normally and punch him, but it would just take a couple more punches, and I think that at this point he would be way faster than Beefcake. I don't think Beefcake would be able to do the same things that he did to Saitama originally, because I don't think Saitama would be that nonchalant and non-caring, since he is, you know, more vulnerable than what he is in his typical one above all state. So I think he could probably get the job done here. He would be pushed really hard, because he would really have to put a big beat down on Beefcake and have to hit him in all the right spots, but I think he could probably get the job done here. I have faith that he could do it. I'm sure some of you might disagree, but we'll move on to the next encounter, and that's going to be against like the Subterraneans and all that stuff, and that's probably going to play out the same exact way. They're only demons, and he's way stronger than that, obviously. So that will bring us to him encountering Mosquito Girl, which is, you know, more or less going to happen. Why wouldn't it? And that's where he's going to meet Genos. So Mosquito Girl is going to be pushed to her blood form. She's going to take out Genos, and then that's when Saitama is going to come in to save the day. Could Saitama smack her away like he did originally? Maybe. I mean, probably if he really wanted to. I mean, considering that she's like around high demon, above demon, low dragon at this point, really depends on your individual ranking for her. I think, you know, considering how strong he is right now, he could probably do the same thing with relatively the same success. Would that convince Genos, though, that Saitama is truly the one above all and he would instantly want to become his disciple the way that he originally does? Well, that's also like a maybe. I mean, I assume that the feat of power that Saitama would show here would still probably be the strongest thing that Genos has ever seen in person, I'm guessing. So maybe that would be enough to, you know, convince him of being his disciple, because, you know, Genos, he does understand that Saitama is extraordinarily powerful in, you know, the current series, but still, you know, there's some times where he doesn't truly understand it. Like, for example, like when he encounters Goketsu and he starts thinking that, like, Saitama's gonna need the rest of the S-Class in order to take him down. So I think it's probably fair to assume that he would have the same kind of infatuation that he does. So given that he's going to wreck Mosquito Girl, this is obviously going to catch the attention of Dr. Genus, just the same way that it does originally, and he's going to send the House of Evolution after him, and that's probably all going to play out similarly. I mean, you know, Beast King is a high demon, probably like, you know, above demon in his transformed state. Maybe not, but still no match for a high dragon such as Saitama in this situation, and he's going to get wrecked all the same. So then we'll just fast forward to Saitama taking on Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto. Now this is where things are going to get interesting, because, you know, he's a good indicator of the level of strength that Saitama is at right now, you know, considering that he's like around the Dark Shine, you know, Garo chapter 127 level, and we know that Carnage Kabuto, at least in the VGS, so we got to take a grain of salt with that, pushed Dark Shine to his absolute limit of strength for 15 minutes straight. So I guess, you know, he would probably have a similar battle with Saitama here, or Saitama with him, I should say. So this would be like a hard-fought battle for Saitama. Just as difficult, if not more difficult, than his fight with Beefcake, you know, considering that Carnage Kabuto presents different variables that are more applicable to someone of Saitama's size. So given that, you know, Darkshine could beat him, I'm going to say that maybe Saitama can grit through this and get the job done here, but, you know, it would be no easy task. So then let's fast forward to him encountering Sonic, which would probably happen still. And given that, you know, we just established that he was able to defeat Carnage friggin' Kabuto, I'm going to assume that he's probably way faster than Sonic by minimum, you know, just taking a guess, of course. So he probably clowned Sonic the same way that he did originally, just not to the full extent that he did, I'll say. So Sonic would have definitely the same vendetta against him, I suppose. And also Sonic's not going to be aware of Saitama, considering that he doesn't have his feats registered. So this is also going to influence Saitama into joining the Hero Association one way or another. So now how would Saitama do given his theorized level of power in the Hero exam? Well, I assume it's probably going to play out more or less the same way. I guess he's probably not going to blow all of the records away that he does normally, because, you know, are we comparing his tests to the tests that the other S-Class heroes have taken? So I don't think it's fair to say that he would just blow, like, I don't know, Dark Shine, Atomic Samurai, Flashy Flash, Blast maybe, Tatsumaki, Silverfang. If they even had scores, would he overcome them? Maybe, maybe not, but we'll say that he definitely would get what would be considered perfect scores anyway, which is what he got originally. However, it's not really going to change for his written, which he savagely failed originally, so he will this time as well. And I think he probably wind up in C-Class still the same. And that brings us to the Meteor, which I think is probably the most interesting scenario in this video, because it's like, can Saitama at his current level of theorized power take care of the Meteor? And so let's try to figure it out. So we know that Metal Knight's missiles couldn't really do anything against it. Now, are these the same missiles that he used against Elder Centipede? Maybe, maybe not, but they're probably around a similar level of power. So those missiles that he did use against Elder Centipede, he claims that they couldn't put a scratch on it. So does that mean that Elder Centipede's carapace is similar in the durability of the Meteor? Maybe, maybe not. They are both dragons, but we do know that Silverfang and Bomb, using the Void Aura Ripping Fist, could crack Elder Centipede's carapace. So obviously way more powerful than Metal Knight's missiles. Now, this would mean that in order for Saitama to take out the Meteor here, not even in similar fashion, just taking out at all, he would need to be as strong or just stronger than a combined effort of Bang and Bomb using the Aura Ripping Fist. Now, is he that strong? Probably not, but he does have Silver Fang at this moment in time because he's still going to be there regardless of, what happened before this. So we'll just say, for the sake of this hypothesis, that Silver Fang and Saitama are going to do like a duo Shoryuken to take out the Meteor, because they're going to have to. Because like I'm saying, one of them individually is not strong enough to take this thing down. I think a group effort between him and Saitama can maybe get the job done here. We'll just say for the sake of the video that they do. So then we'll skip to Deep Sea King, and I think this would probably play out the same way. I mean, he is only like a high demon, maybe above demon after all, and we already established that, somebody like Saitama in this scenario can easily take them out, so he'll probably one-shot it all the same. And that brings us to the Boros Invasion. So how would this play out, given that Saitama is nerfed, and that it ultimately came down to needing Saitama to take care of the savagely, outrageously powerful Boros? Well, I mean, I think you can already assume right now it's not going to play out the same way. Yes, Saitama is very strong, as we've established, but he's nothing compared to Boros at this point. So let's just say somehow he gets on the ship still. Maybe he can still destroy those bullets similarly and runs into Glory Boss. And I think he can take care of Glory Boss. He would have to be, super fast and agile to avoid that acid, which I think he probably could. Maybe it would sting him a little bit, but I think he could probably get the job done against Glory Boss, who is maybe weaker than Carnage Kabuto. Maybe. So then it ultimately comes down to Saitama finding Garuganshoop, who maybe could overcome as well. I mean, Garo in Chapter 92 was able to overcome Giro /Psychos' Esper ability, like holding him down, which is probably comparable in power to Garuganshoop. So I guess somebody at the level of power Saitama is here could probably overcome it as well and maybe take down Garuganshoop. So then we come to Saitama versus Boros, and honestly, if plot isn't intervening here, Boros is going to kill Saitama. He's just way too powerful for him at this point. And I mean, if somehow he pushes him to removing his armor, which I think maybe he could, we don't really know how powerful armored Boros is, but please check out my video on that subject if you'd like to get an estimation at least. But if we go to released Boros, he is going to wreck Saitama. Like, he is so ridiculously powerful at this point that you need to have like somebody at the minimum of Tatsumaki to begin to go and take that kind of power on. And that's what it's going to come down to. Let's just say, just for the sake of going with how one would probably play out things, he doesn't kill Saitama, but he just pushes him as close to death as he's going to come. And it comes down to Tatsumaki having to step in to take on Boros. Now, I don't think that she's probably going to be strong enough to take him down. I did make a video on this subject as well, Tatsumaki versus Boros, and it ultimately came down to like, maybe she could take care of released Boros. Maybe. But then again, he can go to Meteoric Burst and he would completely wreck her at that point. So let's just say, I don't know, maybe she pushes him to Meteoric Burst. Maybe. And at that point, this is where Blast is going to step in, because he is obviously a threat to humanity, and none of the other S-Class heroes are going to be able to take him on, even if they're all working together, at least in my opinion. So now you might be wondering, like, well, how is Blast going to show up? Where is he? How is he going to know? Well, I'm sure a lot of you also know that my polarizing opinion on Blast is that he is secretly the Bearded Worker. And the Bearded Worker was actually at Ground Zero when Boros dropped down, but he was just helping civilians and, weaker people who were damaged and stuff like that. So the Bearded Worker, aka Blast, just sees that all of the S-Class heroes went down. Tatsumaki went down. He's like, okay, time for me to step in. And he takes off his suit. He's got the blast gear underneath. And then he goes and very likely defeats Meteoric Burst Boros and saves the world. I'm just taking a guess, okay? But yeah, that's how I think things would play out, at least for Season 1, if Saitama didn't remove his limiter. And if this video has enough traction to it, then I'll make a follow-up, of course, a part 3, as to what would happen, with Saitama in Season 2 and Season 3 and so forth. But let me know what you think about all of this. But if you liked it, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.